Wow. You're welcome to Yvonne Winifred UG. So today we are making this beautiful kimono maxi dress. Let us start. Folding both my front and back pieces together like this. Since I'm cutting everything together, everything is just the same. That's why I'm folding everything like together. So determining my length, that is about 55 inches plus 1 inch seam allowance, and then my width, measuring from your center back towards where you want your sleeve to stop. Since this is a kimono, the sleeve is cut together with the main bodies, so I'm using 15 inches. And from that 15 inches I slant down my shoulder with about 2 inches down. Then I come to my neck width. I mark 4 inches and I mark 3 inches also as my neck depth. Then I just carve out my neckline just like that. So moving on, I connect my neck from my neck width point. I connect that point towards the shoulder slant just to mark out my shoulder, but I realized I had no seam allowance at the shoulder, so I left about an inch. So that means I'm considering 2.5 inches as my neck depth I mean. So from where we slanted from, I just add that 0.5 inches as sewing allowance, so that I remember when I'm cutting. Mark it right away so that you remember. So from this shoulder slant, I'm going to mark my sleeve opening. So I am using about 9 inches seam allowance considered. So I mark where my 9 inches stop, and then just from there I can just connect a line. But before that, I have to make sure that even after the shoulder slant, I still have 15 inches. Even at the armhole area, or where my sleeve opening is going to be, I have to make sure it is still 15 inches. So after there, I can just mark my sleeve opening. So from where my sleeve opening has ended, I'm just going to move in by 1 inch. You can even do 1.5 inches, but in this case I'm moving in by 1 inch, and I'm going to connect that 1 inch towards this shoulder slant so that my sleeve opening is not so straight, it's a bit slanted, just like that. So this is our new sleeve opening, so we want to use this. We are using this. So from this new sleeve opening, I'm moving in by 2 inches in width, and I also, from where the 2 inches have ended, I go down by another 2 inches so that I slant out the shape of the kimono, just like that. You slant it a little bit, don't make it too straight, but slant it a little bit, kind of a curve line. So from the top, I have to determine where my waistline is and where my hip line is so that I mark the measurements accordingly. Remember, when we're making a dress, we are dividing our hip measurement by 4 inches to get our hip line, or the waistline accordingly. So my waistline is at 17 inches and the hip line is about 23 inches there. So considering my waistline of 32 inches, 32 divided by 4, I get 8 inches. So 8 inches, I added 2 inches. I added 2.5 inches, both the seam allowance and the ease allowance. So I did the same even at the hip line. I used the hip line of about 40 inches. So the 40 inches divided by 4, you get 10 plus 2.5 inches. And I marked accordingly. So I added 2.5 inches to each measurement, since this is a free dress. So whatever I have at the hip line is what I'm going to take to the hemline. But just to play safe, I added 2 inches. So if I have 12.5 inches at the hip line and I add 2 inches to consider that at the hemline, I will have 14.5 inches. So this is what I'm marking here at the hemline as seen in this video. So we have 14.5 inches, and then we just connect our points from the hemline to the hip line, or hip line to the hemline. But if you want it straight, you can leave the 2 inches. You just take your hip measurement, the measurement that you have at the hip line, and you just transfer it to the hemline. If you want a straight dress, it can really look nice, especially when you're putting on heels. So after all that, I just cut out my shape as I've marked, and this is what I am doing here. Gently cut out your shape as you've marked. Remember to consider the seam allowances, especially there at the shoulder. You see where I marked my 0.5 inches. I'm considering it, and then I just cut accordingly. So both the front and the back is just the same. No zip allowance, no buttons needed. It's just a free simple kimono max dress. And after all the cutting, guys, this is how the dress looks. So after that, I have to cut my facings. So since both the front and the back pieces are just similar, I'm just going to cut 2 pieces for the facing. So tracing out my neckline like this, I just marked 3.5 inches from what I've traced out. Accordingly, following the shape of the neckline, I'm marking out 3.5 inches. You can do 3, you can do 4, but 3.5 inches is safer, and that's what I usually use. This is what I am doing, and after marking, I just get my pair of scissors and then cut everything out. Remember, we need 2 for the front and the back piece. So that's it. After cutting out the facing, I have to determine how I will finish my sleeve opening. So we need 2 of these facings. So with the sleeve up, I'm going to sew those 2 around the neck area. So to finish my sleeve opening, I have this piece of 2.5 inches in width, and the length is according to how long the sleeve opening is, all round, since it has to be, connected at the shoulder, and then it becomes one. So guys, after all the cuttings, I'm going to sew like this. I will take my facings and sew it around the neck region by 0.5 inches. Then after, I push it inside, and after, I'll just top stitch. After the top stitching, I will join my shoulders, and that will be all. After joining the shoulders, I'll finish my sleeve opening, as I will show you as to come. So after the sewing machine, this is what we have. I've top stitched I've just run a top stitch on the right side of my dress, both front and back, and this is the shoulder. So after joining the shoulders, I joined my piece, this long piece that I cut out. So I joined the right side up. I folded the piece on the right side and joined it to my dress to the wrong side of the dress, so that I will be pushing it out and top stitch it onto the right side of the dress. Hope you understand. So after, this is what it looks like, the sleeve opening. This is it. You know, when you push it to the right side, it will just be like this, and then I'll run a top stitch on top here all around, and also at the shoulder I have to, you know, tack it so that it does not, you know, move around, or you know. So after all that, I just take my dress back to the sewing machine, right sides facing each other, and then finish the sides, just join along these sides, and this is the dress, guys. It is so simple, easy, easy, easy. You can just do it within 1 hour and you're done. It's a decent dress, and this is how it looks at the mannequin. So this is how it looks at the mannequin. Check how my sleeve opening was finished. I love this finishing, and I just top stitched around the neckline, and this is the belt. I made a belt too. This belt is about 70 inches long and about 6 inches in width, but when folded it is 3 inches in width. So this is the simple kimono max dress, and I rock it like this. Thank you so much. I'll see you soon. Bye bye.